Not long ago, I finished Sonic Unleashed for the Xbox 360. Now, this was part of a project ongoing on my live streams called Project Sinos, where essentially I played through all of the 3D Sonic games in reverse release order because I hate myself, I guess. I don't really know. I thought it would be fun, and it's become more and more of a chore with each passing game. The first few were actually really good because Sonic Team has figured out kind of how they need to operate. The first few were actually pretty fun to get through though, because like Sonic Team figured out in time how to make a Sonic game that's consistently fun. But the recent handful, it's essentially the storybook games that have been just pummeling me. It is bad. Like post Generations, there are some hard misses. Rise of Lyric and Lost World, horrible, truly deplorable experiences. There are like 3 enjoyable levels across the entirety of Lost World, and I don't think there's a single redeeming aspect of Boom. Oh, it should have just been a show. They should have just kept it as a show and just been like, all right, hey, this is a show. But no, they just decided, hey, let's make games, and everyone's going to hate them because we made them fast. Because this is something that I genuinely believe. I think that Nintendo hardware is actually bad for Sonic games. That's something I can get into another time. But I very specifically want to talk about Sonic Generations for the 360, like the 360 and PS3 versions specifically, and the things that were lost after that, because that game invented the boost formula, right? Truly innovated, came up with it. It just made it from scratch, basically. There was nothing like it prior, right? Secret Rings was designed for a different console, right? And it had a kind of boost element to it with the speed break, but I mean, there was nothing that was quite like the translation of like Sonic Rush's boost in 3D. And Unleashed did that flawlessly. But we lost some of what made Unleashed so good because of just people kind of reviewing the game as bad because the Werehog was in it. Which, looking back on it, the Werehog actually pretty cool. Especially on the Wii version, actually. I really fuck with the way that the Werehog on the Wii controls, because it's actually like input, like combo inputs, right? With Black Knight, it has a motion controlled combat system, but it kind of sucks. You're just flailing the Wii remote around, and that's how it is with Secret Rings too, where you're literally just flailing the Wii remote around. And honestly, the Wii and PS4 or Wii and PS2 versions of Unleashed are kind of just a storybook game. It's very much on rails, with like a little bit of side to side, sometimes more than others. There are some times where you can like really move to the side in Unleashed for the Wii, and I know this because I've played it, but otherwise it's very much on a rail, right? The amount that you can like speed up is dictated in like segments rather than in like control of the player, how you see in the boost formula, which is very reminiscent of the speed break in Secret Rings. And like there are a lot of similarities, like even down to the way that the Supersonic fight against Dark Gaia works, right? Like I think one of the attack patterns for Dark Gaia is like, I think 2 slashes removed from one of the attacks that like the super powered up version of the Eraser Jin operates. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. The PS3 and Xbox 360 version of Unleashed is the quintessential Sonic the Hedgehog game, like modern Sonic the Hedgehog game, right? With the adventure formula and with 06, right? It was Sonic, right? But it was much more akin to the control style of classic Sonic rather than like modern Sonic, right? You have all of the like run around, spin dash, boost, right? You get some extra things in the like upgrades and power-ups and things, but largely those feel like 3D classic Sonic games when you compare them to things in the boost formula and beyond. So from the boost formula, Unleashed and Generations are the only two that feel like modern Sonic games, right? Especially with Unleashed recompiled, right? Because it's still running inside of the Hedgehog engine, but they basically like updated the models and like the lighting rigs and everything, so it looks really, really beautiful. Like genuinely, I still play Unleashed recompiled today. I beat the game weeks ago, and I still play it because it's so pretty and it's so fun. But the things that ended up getting lost, right? When you play Unleashed and you play, say, Sonic Colors, the next like mainline game, because the storybooks are like spin-offs in a weird way. But the next mainline game is Colors. When you play it, it feels less clean, right? It doesn't feel as good. And there are a couple of reasons for that. One, the game isn't as fast, right? I'm pretty sure that this is in part because of the level design being much more centered around precision platforming, even in the 3D sections, but also limitations of the Nintendo Wii itself. I just don't think that the Wii would be able to handle speeds like Unleashed tried to do and pulled off very well. But even beyond that, like if you look at the animations between Unleashed and Colors, sure, Colors is higher fidelity, right? It has a strictly higher like graphical goodness, right? It's smoother model textures. It's just, like the models themselves are better. Sure, I'm not here to argue that. The animations though are more stiff, right? Like Sonic doesn't move around as much, right? He's not as fluid. Right? It almost looks like they did like mocap and like just applied that and like did some like cursory smoothing on it so it wasn't as like incredibly jank. But in Unleashed, Sonic moves like he is made of liquid. It is crazy. And it's super fun to watch happen. I love watching Sonic run in Unleashed. And there are two reasons for this. One, it's the animations, right? But two, Jason fucking Griffith. I don't think that we have had a better voice for Sonic the Hedgehog than Jason Griffith. Truly. He is Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Roger Craig Smith could never do the Werehog. Not in a million years, I don't think. Right? He can do a deep voice. He can even do like a bit of a gravelly deep voice. But I don't think he could do like the Werehog comparative to the way that he does Sonic, right? And you hear it, right? Going from, because obviously I started at the end with Frontiers for Project Sinnoh. Going from Roger Craig Smith's voice in Colors directly to Jason Griffith's voice in Black Knight was such a whiplash event. It was insane because their voices are so different, right? They're playing two different characters, right? And it's wild to hear it happen. But like you look at Unleashed Sonic, and like even like in the cutscenes, he moves like a cartoon. He feels like a cartoon, right? Because that's what Sonic is at the end of the day. He's a cartoon It's one of the reasons that Mario has been like consistently visually good, right? It's because Nintendo never tried to make Mario not a cartoon. I mean, except for with the Super Mario Super Show, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Right? He's always moved like a cartoon. He's always been like made of rubber, right? And they need to figure that out again. I don't know how they did those animations, how they designed them, or how they came up with them, or who was doing them, but they need to get back to that because it feels like Sonic. There's always this air of the world is about to end in Sonic games, right? Even since Adventure, right? It's, hey, perfect chaos is here. If Sonic does not do something about this, the world truly will be done, right? Adventure 2, right? The Eclipse Cannon is going to fire at the planet, potentially destroying it, right? Sonic has to do something about it, right? In 06, right? Until the very end, he didn't really know that it was like an Iblis thing. He was just like, hey, Eggman's kind of being an asshole, right? But like, hey, the princess of this place is literally being stolen, right? Like, it's not a great situation, right? Unleashed. The world is broken into pieces. Despite all of this, Sonic still feels lighthearted in these games, right? But it's not lighthearted to a fault, right? In Colors, Sonic is overly lighthearted, right? He is written like a cartoon while not being animated like one. It's jarring when you look at the cutscenes for Colors. It feels wrong. And it's just crazy. Like, but the thing that I want to get at with Jason Griffith voicing Sonic the Hedgehog in Unleashed specifically, and like even in the storybook games, right, there's a little bit of this there, but very specifically you can feel it in Unleashed. Daytime Sonic feels like he's having fun, right? He isn't just lighthearted, he's carefree, right? He knows what he has to do, right? But he's not in a rush to do it, right? Like, there's a little bit of like an onus to like get it done, sure, but like he's enjoying the process. He's enjoying going through these places and getting to the place that he needs to go, right? And I think like bringing back the whole like saving animals or like little critters from wherever they are in Colors, like bringing back that aspect, right? It kind of nulled the ability for Sonic to be that kind of carefree, right? And it's not like a strict writing thing, right? Like I feel like in Colors, Roger Craig Smith could have done that. They could have had him just go into the studio and be like, hey, record some audio that's going to be for like when Sonic does tricks or when Sonic is boosting, right? Like, record some stuff for that, because like we want Sonic to sound like he's having fun at this literal amusement park, right? Because in the cutscenes, right, it implies that he's having fun, right? That like they're kind of like dicking around at the amusement park while they're trying to save the Wisps. But it's just there's no input from Sonic, right? It's lost the charm of the character. And they're starting to bring it back. They really are, with Frontiers very much in the actions, right? There's sound, especially in the combat, right? And like it sounds like there's effort being put in. But I wish that they would make it feel like Sonic is having fun again. And I have high hopes, because like again, with Frontiers having that kind of like characterized like effort sounds, right? I feel like if there isn't the pressure of Sonic kind of going through cyber corruption, I feel like there'll just be a chance for Sonic to like feel and sound like he's having fun again. And that would be great. I'd love that. I think that would be really, really cool. But that's just not where we are with Sonic. But another thing is like the level design. I feel like in recent years, like after Unleashed, the Boost Formula games relied way too heavily on 2D sections, right? And like Unleashed has 2D sections, it does, and they're okay. They're not fantastic for the most part, but they're like passable, right? But most 2D sections in modern Sonic games aren't that great anyway, so par for the course, I guess. But the 3D elements of Unleashed feel so crazy good, and they last for so long. It's so nice. I love it so much because that's the time when Sonic gets to feel fast, is when the camera is behind him, not next to him, right? Because when the camera's behind him and you can see ahead of you for miles, that is when Sonic feels like Sonic. And they need to bring that back. Honest to goodness, they have to bring it back. They have to find a way. Because, man, that was truly such a fun experience. And then I had to play Secret Rings, and I got really mad at it a lot. But that's maybe another video for another time. For now, that's going to be the end of this one. I just kind of wanted to yap a little bit about Unleashed because genuinely I had so much fun with it. And until I see you all again, please do remember to stay funky and keep stargazing.